am good. Welcome back to another video. So, I actually did see this trailer for The Flash season 10. Like, it's this fan made trailer, and it actually looks very cool. But at the same time, this fan made trailer of The Flash season 10 looks actually very cool. But if it were actually a real, season, which that would be very cool. And sometimes, well, if I would have to rank all of the major villains or any villain in The Flash, I think it would the Reverse Flash would have to be at the top of the list, and then it would be Zoom, would be the second of the list, and Savitar, then the Thinker, and even, Cicada would be my least favorite villain because I just find the storyline of that villain in The Flash season 5, well, it tends to be a bit dragged out a lot, but even for the Flash villain in season 4, which is the Thinker, I would have to say, like, that villain, is, the story and even everything leading up to, what would happen would be actually very cool to see, everything that played up to when the Flash returned from the Speed Force, but which caused that is he ended up somehow in the middle of Central City, and he somehow ended up in the middle of Central City where there would be a bus, one of the buses in Central City, and there would be, the Flash would be out of the Speed Force very fast, and he ended up somewhere, far from Central City, and then there were all those, new metas that were happening. But I would have to say one w- one meta that actually has passed with Barry Allen is Ralph, which he would be a private investigator, and which sort of they had a rivalry in the past when, but before his powers and all that, where he would actually be elongated man, almost similar to Plastic Man, but not really. And So on to like season 5, where there would be, well, it towards the end of season 4, we would be introduced to Nora, Iris and Barry's daughter, and she would try to stop the Starlab satellite, and even, but in the end, which there is two versions of Cicada in season 5, but leading up towards the conclusion of season 5, well, Thawne actually then would, well, need Cicada's dagger in his possession to be free from prison, and then Thawne and all of Team Flash meet back together again, and earlier on into season 5, Nora and Barry end up going back in time, where they end up in the time vault, and yes, you could probably tell already that how much I've watched The Flash so many times, I could just remember what happens, but all the way up until like episode 6 and episode 7, from episode 1 to 7, it would introduce the villain Bloodwork in season 6. Then, well, like episode 8 and 9, well, from episode 8 until the end of, well, season 6, well, the show would then introduce you to, well, the villain Mere Monarch, which there's a whole story behind that. And honestly, the first time I had no problem with it, but I just find the story with that and the story behind it was just very dragged out. And even for season 7, which it was very good the first 2 times around, and that then there would be the negative forces, and then even season 8, and there would be Despero, and yeah, even Godspeed, which would continue right from half of season 6 into season 7, which Godspeed would be another speedster, well, another evil speedster that the Flash, Nora, and Bart would have to deal with, because, well, Impulse, his version of Thawne would actually be Godspeed, and But yeah, if there was a season 10 of The Flash, I think that would be very cool. But I honestly, if there was a season 10, and well, maybe it could actually redeem itself because, well, if Grant Gustin did come back as the Flash, that would be awesome. And but yeah, this concludes this video and podcast. So bye bye.